Welcome to the Synergy Collective podcast, a brand new show that I'm excited to introduce. It's kind of been in the works for a while. My name is Chris. I am the host, and today I've got two guests on, two coaches for the Team Synergy ambassador and pro team. But first, before we jump into talking to them, talk a little bit about the show, the future of the show. The goal here is to bring on athletes and focus on the world of endurance. So, athletes, coaches, experts in the field on all different topics to do with endurance sports from triathlon, Xterra, swimming, cycling, running, just about anything that involves endurance. So, today we're going to talk specifically about Team Synergy, which is the Synergy ambassador and pro team. And like I said, I've got Josiah and Calvin here. How you guys doing?
Doing well.
Good. It's good to see you guys again.
You
Yeah,
too.
Well, let's jump into, before we get into what Team Synergy is and all the benefits and things like that, the perks that come along with being with the team. For those of you who might not know, Synergy is a company who makes a variety of endurance apparel, wetsuits, accessories from swimming, cycling, running, triathlon kits, wetsuits, which I love. I've been working with Synergy for quite a while and love the wetsuits and the tri kits, as well as I've got all of the swimming accessories. I love testing out new stuff that's not out yet, and which I've been having a lot of fun doing lately. But I'm sure what you guys as well have done a little bit of, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Synergy is a very innovative company, and it's pretty fun to see everything they have coming down the pike.
Yeah, I like to, I've been probably working with them seriously for a few years now, and it's been fun to see the company develop and innovate and really expand the product line and just continue to focus on the quality of the product, which, it just continues to get, better and better and better. And the wetsuit lines are top notch. The materials on the tri kits, those are great as well. So,
Yeah. And
it's
now
always
they
been
the
fun.
last two products too is for us skinny guys up in Canada. They have a thermal wetsuit, which is fabulous for skinny guys like me. And also they're moving into a little bit of the swim run line. So they have a basically a beginner or basic suit. Now they're developing an elite suit for racing the swim run race circuit across North America into the world. So like you said, they're very innovative.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is that suit out now? Or, I mean, I remember when we had chatted previously, the swim run suit was, I didn't know if it was out at this point. It wasn't at that point.
Yeah, I think it's in production. I think if people need that type of suit, the season is pretty much rolling through right now across the world, Uttala and a few other of those swim run Odyssey races. So people do have access to order them online now. Yeah.
Nice. Well, even being from Southern California, I can tell you I benefit from the thermal wetsuit. I enjoy it, and just about now I'm kind of switching out of wearing the thermal wetsuit. I mean, it's only 80, 90 degrees here in California, and the water's definitely creeping into the high 60s, low 70s. So now's about the time I'll switch over to my non-thermal wetsuit.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into it with Josiah. And, why don't we have you share a little bit about your history, kind of how you got into the sport of Xterra, and, some of the different accomplishments you've had.
Oh wow, where do I start here? Well, I've been a professional athlete for over 20 years, triathlete. So my niche is definitely Xterra. In 2015, I was Xterra World Champion. And I've continued to race into my 40s. I'll be 45 in a couple weeks here. So there's a lot of things that kind of keep me going. And lately, it's been my kids that have been pushing me a little bit more and passing me up. So that's been a whole lot of fun. And right now, this season, I'm traveling the world with my oldest son, Sullivan, and we're doing the Xterra World Cup together. And so that's been a lot of fun. And he's a member of Team Synergy as well. He's also on this Project Podium USA Triathlon program that's for his age group. He's still a junior. He's on his way to the Junior World Championship in Germany, leaves tomorrow. So yeah, kind of all over the place a little bit. I'm going to meet my other son, my middle son, in Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa, for his first draft legal junior race. And
Oh, wow, exciting time.
yeah, I'm I'm staying involved in the sport, and I'm still racing at a pretty high level. So right now, that lands me in the elite field, and I'll see how long I can keep it up.
Yeah, well, you just had some big races, right?
Yeah, we so this World Cup is new this year for Xterra. We raced in Oak Mountain, and that was in May. And then I went to Belgium 2 weeks later, and that was a European Championship, which was probably more stacked than the World Championship last year in Italy. So, yeah, off to a really good start, and we've got a few more races lined up. I go to Czech Republic in August, and then my home race in Beaver Creek 2 weeks after that.
Wow, you are all over the place. And besides all of that, you're also coaching, right?
Yeah, and that's my main gig is my remote coaching. I have a local contingent here, but I also coach athletes all over the nation and all over the world. So pretty much any endurance endeavor. My niche is definitely Xterra triathlon, but I coach Ironman distance, half Ironman, endurance mountain bikers, trail runners, ultra runners. So pretty much anything endurance I'll tackle.
Nice. Well, where if someone wants to look you up, where can they go to find you
Mid
as far as your
Yep,
coaching?
midawcoaching.com. You can find me.
All right, perfect. We'll put that in the show notes, but that's great. Yeah, it's neat to hear. My kids are young, right? They're 8 and 10, and my oldest, I keep pushing to not hard, but just you want to go on a run with me. She's got it really that runner's build, right? She has really good run form. She just hasn't found the passion for wanting to sweat and work that hard yet. So, but I keep working. They're both on swim team and things like that. But they're young right now. Where now yours have kind of reached the point where you can race with them, which is really, really cool because you kind of share that experience when you go to races together.
Yeah, kind of the scary thing is that their trajectory, quite often like this, and so, they go from, not really training, hardly, being able to do an easy run with them, and then they blow right past you. So it's a blink of an eye, and I think that's a lot of people relate to that. Like, trying to get your kid out the door to do a 2-3 mile run with you, and then all of a sudden you can't keep up. So it's pretty wild.
Yeah, and then the recovery time is like nothing at that age, right?
Exactly.
Well, great. And then we'll get into team synergy, but your role as part of the team, you're working with the pro athletes. Is that right?
Yeah, that's my main focus is the elite team that we have, and we have a really good stable of athletes. So it's pretty exciting working with them.
Awesome. Well, yeah, we'll talk a little bit about some of those athletes and what's going on that side. All right, Cal, how about yourself? You are also a coach with Team Synergy, and you've got a history of racing quite a bit and some accomplishments yourself.
Yeah, I was a hyperactive kid growing up in Penticton, BC, and that's kind of the mecca of triathlon. And couldn't swim worth beans. I couldn't swim at all. Actually, it was just one of those challenges. I thought, hey, I'm going to see if I can learn how to swim. I'd swim up to the swim buoys and back, and I thought that was pretty epic. And I just took it upon myself to learn how to swim, bike, and run. So I've been doing the sport for over 35 years, I think now. I went back to school, did my master's degree in exercise physiology, and did a thesis on actually triathlon. So, and created a concept called critical speed, critical power for swimming, biking, and running. And so I studied it at a fairly advanced level, but as an athlete, sort of, I just loved it and carried on. And I was kind of this middle pack kind of age grouper, and I just kept sticking at it, going at it, going at it. And eventually I've been able to win, I think, 10 world age group Xterra titles and two more other world titles. So that puts me at 12, which is for Canada, I think, have the most age group world titles, which is pretty cool. It just means I'm
Yeah, that's pretty
old.
cool.
Yeah, it just means I'm bloody old. That's all there is to it, right? And I'm never going to be in Josiah's age group, which is just awesome. Like I'm 55 this year, which is really cool. So, and I guess, one of my best years was 2021 when I won the world 70.3 age group title as well as the Xterra. So that was kind of a cool thing to go back to back. And again, I'm still learning about the sport as we evolve, in the sense of going from, the 20s to the 30s to the 40s, 50s, 60s. Everything changes as we get a little bit older. So I like to actually work with people that are going through that transition in life and getting older, but still like to do this lifestyle. And so I've been very blessed to be able to keep going. And then it was last year, I think you and I can relate to this, is I had back surgery. So it was
Right.
just a complication that was just a genetic thing that I had to get fixed. And so since that point, I've been able to kind of rebuild from zero fitness, like Zippo, couldn't even run a kilometer, to being able to now, I think I've done my first 30-kilometer run, which is pretty good for me now. So the
That's
progression
great.
has been pretty decent. So just even learning about that progression is pretty fun. So yeah, I've been always an athlete, and now again working with Synergy, and it's been just an absolute blast. And again, like you said, great company, very innovative, very supportive of athletes as well as coaches. And so we're really trying to kick this bad boy off and really give people the support and the equipment that they need to reach the next level. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's what has always drawn them to me, right? For those of you who don't know, I have a YouTube channel, and I'm an age grouper, right? I consider myself just an average age grouper, and I'm kind of going through what you were going through, probably not to the extent with your back, but last year I didn't really run much throughout the year. I did racing, but didn't run between races, and then earlier this year I had surgery. So now I am in that process of um, out there trying to run zone two, realizing it feels like
yeah,
I'm crawling and walking, and you it's really hard to imagine getting back to the level that you were, or even beyond that when you're in it. But day by day, you chip away, and it's amazing what the body's capable of doing, and the
yeah.
recovery that you
And
can
it's
have.
similar to what Josiah said with his sons. As they evolve, they get better. And the human body, whether it's coming from a youth background to getting to elite, or for us coming off a surgery, it adapts really, really well if you're patient, and if you have coaches like myself and Josiah potentially giving you a little bit of guidance. Because if you leave it up to yourself, often you're a bit too aggressive. You need that sounding board or someone to help you through that process. And even when I was going through my recovery, I certainly was consulting with my professor and a few other sport med docs. And it really made the journey a lot more, I don't know, a little easier, I would say. Still a lot of
Yeah.
work, though. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there will be weeks that I don't feel good, and then the week I do feel good, it's like, all right, I got to ramp it up, right? And you
Yeah.
want to do too much, and having that sounding board, having that person that is coaching you, especially um, not letting you sneak in those extra workouts or extra miles, things like that, is great.
Yeah.
So now, do you have particular athletes that you target with your coaching, Cal?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty cross. I do a lot of different populations as well. Like I've got experience with coaching people that have climbed Mount Everest, for instance, and I also have worked with the population that have survived cancer. So they're trying to get back to functional health, I guess, as well as lots of age groupers and some pros and some Olympians. So a little bit more broadly ranged, I guess, which I like. I like working with different populations. However, just like Josiah, I think our specialty is working with endurance athletes and helping them, reach that level of performance without compromising their health. That's critical. And endurance sport is our passion, and I think again we learn as we go through this process, and we help share that information and the learnings as we go. So yeah, I have a fairly big group in Calgary here where we do more of a team concept. I mean, we have world class facilities, swimming, biking, indoor tracks, we've got it all. So I have probably a team of 30 to 35, where Josiah is in a smaller little niche town sort of thing, where a lot more of the online side of things like that. So I don't do a ton of online stuff. I do a little bit, but mostly it's within my Calgary, Alberta region. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. It is nice on, it's great having online coaching, right? Having those resources that you might not have anyone near you if you're in a small town or things like that. But I will say it's also really cool to have a group, and maybe it's not a coaching group, but maybe it's just a team, or
Mhm.
folks near you, right? That you can share, meet up for workouts, things like that. So especially having a coach group is great, but even just having um, a team at all, or a network of folks that are around you to do workouts.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And my responsibilities with the synergy is just more of the age groupers and trying to keep them organized and potentially help them with their training and that sort of thing on a basic level. And then, of course, what we're all trying to do is we're trying to all meet at some of these bigger races. So then we have that
Yep.
team concept. Just exactly what you talked about is that we don't have to all live in Calgary, but we can certainly meet in Beaver Creek or wherever. And in this case, the biggest race this year will be in Italy at the World Xterra Championships, or I don't know if anyone else is going to Finland for the World 70.3 Championships, those sort of things. But
Yep.
the idea is to figure out who's going where and see if us as coaches can be there and be their support, answer questions. There's always so many questions. And I said, I've always even texted Josiah when we're in Maui, and I'm like, "What tire tread are you using? What are you doing? Like, what's going on?" Like the stress of the race is just sort of overwhelming. And then when you have that sounding board of someone that's
Definitely.
very, very experienced, I think that just puts things at ease. And I think that's our job as coaches, and is to give people the sense of ease. Like, okay, that's what they're doing. That's what they recommend. These guys have done it for 30 years. They know what they're doing, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Whether it's always great to have that sounding board, that different perspective, someone to even if you're confident in what you're doing, just having that conversation, getting that opinion.
Yeah.
So, and that's what's great with Team Synergy. I was so excited when I heard that they were forming a team, and just because I've been involved with them, I've shared with a lot of the folks I deal with, and I have a local team, a group community essentially that I work with here in Orange County, and so Synergy has stepped up and been a part of that, and so it's really cool to see them starting this one pro team, but then the age group team and growing that community, because there's nothing like going to a race and having other people there wearing the same kit you're wearing, whether you're chatting through the group, right? Communicating with you guys and getting to know each other, other
Mhm.
age groupers, things like that. Before I forget, is there anybody going to Finland that you know of on the Synergy group? I mean, I'm going. So,
Nice.
all right, I didn't know
Yeah.
if you were going when you mentioned it. Are you going?
I I'd like to go. I haven't qualified. However, I could maybe put in a special request potentially. But no, we have actually our fastest age grouper, Jaden Port. He is going. He just recently was third overall at the Ironman 70.3 Victoria, and the
Oh, nice.
previous year he won the amateur division in the PTO Edmonton race. So he's gunning
Oh,
for a top three performance. He's definitely going. So we're targeting for a high performance and achievement there. So, but beyond
awesome.
that, no one else that I know.
All right. Well, then we may have to have him on a future episode of the show to do a race recap. We can talk about our experiences getting in and out of Finland. Before we started this, I was telling Josiah about how hard it is to get in and out of Finland and all the traveling and, getting your bike and the logistics. So,
Yeah,
yeah, it's not the easiest place, in my opinion, to have a race, but I'm looking forward to the experience. It's a
yeah.
beautiful place.
Well, good. That's awesome. That'll be a great
One important
experience.
point with our team synergy is that we are not just a off-road, Xterra team. We have some high-profile elite athletes that race Xterras, but really we're trying to build that out on the road to 70.3, USAT Olympic distance. Really, anybody who is really passionate about triathlon. And some people cross over. Some people are off road and on road, like Cal and some of the athletes that he coaches and athletes that I coach as well. So yeah, we're really trying to get into that niche of the road triathletes as well.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about what team synergy is, then, like an actual explanation for the listeners that might be interested in joining the team. Who wants to handle that question?
Go ahead, Josiah. You got the,
I'll give
you
it a
got
crack, but jump in here. But yeah, I mean, synergy. The whole concept is we're trying to build community around the brand of Synergy and bringing in some other partners. So we're using, the elite athletes, as kind of the visual flagship, the people that are out there, crushing these events at the highest level. But then we want a
Yep.
big
Sure.
ambassador team to build that community out. Not just the athletes that we coach, but any athlete that's really passionate about the sport. Send us your resume. We have an application online. And we want to hear from you, and we want to build that community at the events themselves, outside of the events, also online, and try to share. Cal and I trying to share our knowledge with that broad community.
Nice. So obviously there's pro, but then there's the age group, and you can go to Synergy and synergywetsuits.com, I believe, and then there you'll find the sign up. One of the great things is it's not a limited sign up, right? There's not like a small sign up window. You actually can sign up anytime.
Anytime, absolutely. People can join. Doesn't matter what month, what time of season. If it's in season, out of season, doesn't really matter. Um, and again, beyond that support, obviously we have amazing support with all the equipment as well. So of course, anybody on the team, they're going to get a custom kit, which is just the coolest thing, with your name across the chest and across the back, and even your own personal sponsors on the front, and then our team sponsors on the back. And it's something that you rarely get. I know that Josiah's kids, of course, when they're racing for USA, they have their own team, well, national kits. In this case, we've got our own Synergy kits, which are very distinctive, and I think they're starting to catch on. I see them more and more now, which is amazing. So I think that's a huge benefit to have that custom kit, and it really makes you stand out. It makes you race faster. It does. It really
Exactly.
does.
It's just like shoes, right? When you look good, you race fast. But
Yeah.
there's also benefits to joining. Is there's discounts, right? And not only because Synergy is a maker of all these different accessories, you as a team member you get really great discounts to the product. Is that right?
Yeah, there's some really good packages. If you go on that synergywetsuits.com website, there's a join us button, and you can read about kind of the benefits of being on the team, and then the different packages that we have. So, I mean, if you're, it's kind of a no-brainer. I mean, they make the best wetsuit in the world, and you can get it at a huge discount, along with that custom kit with your name on it, all the accessories, and then also some of our partner brands with the discounts there.
Yeah, yeah. I saw the list of partners. I saw Rudy Project on there, a bunch of others on there, which is great because then you get access to additional discounts with others as well.
Yeah. The other benefit I was thinking about just the other day was the elite pro team. Obviously, they get a little bit of a stipend. They get a monthly sort of thing, or covering costs and that sort of thing, which is part of that, obviously, that prestigious side of things. But also, some of these top age groupers that are on the team, their goal is to get to that level, which is
Right.
really neat. So they're pushing to try to get that point. This is where Josiah is going to have to be very careful. We got some fast up and comers coming up here, so he's going to be, looking behind him quite a bit. But seriously, it's kind of a neat incentive, where I don't know if there's any other team in the world which offers that kind of program, where some of these top age groupers can kind of get into the elite field, and as the budget grows and as the team grows, that pro team can grow as well. So that's a really neat tiered system. I've never had that when I was growing, and fairly fast when I was young. I wish I did. So it's a really cool opportunity for some of these speedy age groupers that are sort of on
Yeah.
that edge, right on that balance line of not quite a pro, but if they need that little bit of financial help, this is the team for them for sure.
Yeah, well, it's great to have. It's almost a mentorship, right? They can come in, work with you, and then over time, if they make that leap, one they've got you guys as a resource to help them kind of navigate that, and then yeah, they've got the pro team right there, and decide to kind of move up in the ranks with.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. So now, as part of as an age grouper, one of the benefits is working with you guys, right? There's some coaching on that side. I guess maybe talk to a little bit about that as to what someone could expect from a coaching or guidance standpoint.
Yeah, any athlete that signs up for the program would get a free month of coaching. for myself. And um, yeah, and we're here as a resource. I mean, we are the ones that are fielding the applications and reaching out to the athletes, and so we're here as a resource for them to contact us directly and ask questions, and really just any support that they need.
That's great. Now, are there any requirements for someone that's looking to join? I'm, a middle of the packer triathlete. Maybe I'm brand new. I'm kind of just dabbling in Xterra or triathlon. I mean, do I need 100,000 Instagram followers, or is there something like that, or what's some of the criteria?
No, not at all. No, I mean basically levels, all levels. Usually, most people's philosophy is just to do it for health and wellness and functionality, quality of life, and then of course the results. Some people have big results, some people don't. That's okay. We're looking for all abilities, and whether or not they've got a big social media presence, that certainly is helpful for us to spread the word. And if we may just say, hey, you know what, could you tweet this one out? Or that's a beautiful photo with your custom kit. Can you make sure that that's sent out and tag it? I am Team Synergy sort of thing. I mean,
Yeah.
we're all a big family in this whole thing. And the bigger that the team grows, the more potential bigger sponsors that we can attract. And which means that's going to benefit everybody. So, this is just, we're only a few months into it. I think 4 or 5 months into this program, and we already have a good solid group. So, again, as it gains momentum with everyone, again, signing up anytime, we're going to get more of that sponsor leverage, and it's going to be more beneficial. And that's what's happening nowadays, is that with these inflationary pressures, we're all trying to get that leg up, right? Like, we're
Mhm.
always trying to save a little bit of money because we know that travel costs, food costs, all of those things are just skyrocketing. So being a part of this team financially makes a ton of sense, like Josiah was saying.
Yeah, definitely not a cheap sport by any means, right?
You
So
know,
by the time you pay for races and supplements and coaching and gear and all of that stuff, right? It adds up. So yeah, anywhere you can save here and there is awesome.
Piggybacking on what Cal was saying, it's really, we're looking for people who are really passionate about triathlon and people that want to share that passion, right? And so that's sharing it might be with social media, it might be contacting us as team managers and saying, "Hey, I just did this race. Here's a photo from of me in the race with my Synergy kid," and we're trying to spread the love, spread the passion for the sport.
Yeah, and that's one of the great things about what we're doing here with this show is to be able to bring a bunch of those experiences and the experts on the team, the pros, things like that, to be on this show to help uh, kind of get that knowledge out there and share that as well. So um,
yeah.
that's been one of the biggest things that I've enjoyed in working with Synergy. Right, having my YouTube channel, I've worked with different people who want you to be an ambassador, work with their product, but the closeness, of the Synergy group, kind of the feedback, it's really heard. The way they take care of you, right? The way they work with you, it's different than anyone else that I've worked with, kind of as a product or on a sponsor side. They really, like you say, it's a family, and the effort they put into the relationship, right, is not just one sided. It's great. So I've really enjoyed working with them.
Yeah. And for example, we're asking for feedback on the custom kits, from everyone that has one. How are they fitting? All of those sort of things. And obviously, we're evolving or creating more sizes. Remember, Synergy has the most size choices in wetsuits. It's got the most size choices, hands down, in the world. So they really try to include everyone, all body shapes, all body sizes, the whole shebang. But you're right. That's one of the biggest things when we have our meetings is just, is there any feedback from our team members about the custom gear or any equipment, or are we missing something that we need for next year, for instance, a type of equipment or a tool or something of that nature? And so, yeah, they're very innovative.
Yeah, I've always been amazed at how open they are to feedback and how much they really want the feedback. And that's because the product does drive what they're doing, right? They
Yeah.
really crave hearing the good and the bad and what you would like to see changed or any ideas, right? It's always like, what products do you need? Because they're looking at where they can innovate and where they can add value. Um, in a product, in a world of so many products, right? They're really focused on what they're doing and trying to create value, but also innovate, which is
Yeah,
always
we're waiting for
impressive.
the invisible fins to come out so Josiah and I don't get dropped so bad in that first 1,500-meter swim. We were just waiting for that. And when we do get that, Chris, we'll give you a set as well.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah. I'm actually a better paddle swimmer. So if there could just be some invisible webbed gloves,
Yeah,
Yeah.
years ago.
I'll
So my background is not swimming. I learned to swim as an adult, like a lot of triathletes can relate to. But it's actually pretty unique in the elite field to not have a swim background these days. So I was at the Xterra National Championship one year, and probably the main reason I went with Synergy is because I need all the help I can get in the water, right? So for me to
Yeah.
bridge up close to that, lead pack, really good,
Mhm.
fast, buoyant, flexible wetsuit is what I need. And so at the time, they had the best wetsuit that I could find, but we wanted to make it better. And I was working directly with Stefan, and figure out what could we do in my specific scenario. Like what do I need in a wetsuit? And so they did a custom wetsuit for me, hand stitching all the panels, and we went over like every panel and what thickness we wanted it all. And so I got this Franken suit the week of national, my swim ever. Totally legal suit, but man, I was within a minute of the front of the race and ended up winning the national championship there. And so that's what a lot of people don't realize is that the worse your swim is, the more you benefit from a really good wetsuit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, I have a swimming background, right? I was never an elite swimmer by any means, but I have a little bit of a leg up, right, from a swimming standpoint. But
Mhm.
one of the comments I always get is how much better of a swimmer I am, kind of open water in a wetsuit, than I am in just in the pool, right, in a speedo. And I see it. If I put a buoy in between my legs, right, I'm a totally different swimmer. And
Yeah.
I always think of it as my leg. I must swim like I'm an anchor or something like that. But as soon as I have that wetsuit on, right, I'm saving 10, 15 seconds per hundred. So yeah, having a great wetsuit, and the wetsuits have come so far.
Yeah.
Specifically the recent Synergy wetsuits, and that was when they told me about the thermal. That was one of my reactions was, how stiff is it going to be, right? But the only thing that really kind of changed was the center panel and the kind of the fuzzy inner leg and chest area. The shoulders are still extremely flexible and very fast. So
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like I'm faster in my thermal, and maybe it's just because it's newer, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And their swim skins are amazingly fast as well. Like they have a whole line of swim skins from sleeveless to sleeves, that are obviously very legal for any of the organizations from Ironman to Xterra, you name it. And the good thing too is like I just had four ladies qualify for Kona Worlds this year, Ironman World, and now their needs are okay. Now I need a swim skin, and it's like we've got access to that. Bam, they get the big discount, obviously of being part of Team Synergy, and so as their so-called career or triathlon performances evolve, we have the gear for them. Not everybody's thinking about a swim skin, but of course, if you're going to race in Cozumel or in Kona or any of
Yeah.
these warmer places, we've got you covered. Yeah.
Yeah, I wore a swim skin last summer. I did some races and used the Synergy. I had the sleeved version, and it was great. One fast, so
Yeah.
easy to get off. So um, yeah, that was awesome. I
Yeah.
actually had to learn how to, when I got it, I was like, Where's the pull strap?" And the
Yeah.
the breakaway zipper that is
Yeah.
on that thing is amazing, right? It's just basically breaks away as you pull it down. You don't have to reach around and find a strap or anything like that. So that was the first thing I got. I was like, how do I attach a strap to this thing? Right. I didn't,
Yeah,
that was really cool.
locked.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say they also make suits for the ITU legal guys because obviously Sullivan and those guys, Josiah's sons, they need that kind of suit as well, based on those regulations. So they accommodate that as well.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. This was fun. I'm looking forward to it because I'm now on the I'm on the team, right? You guys accepted my
Oh,
You're in.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to know all the other athletes in the Synergy network, right? And seeing them at races and just, getting to see their experiences. And because I think that's one of the biggest things that I've found and come to enjoy, um, outside of being with a coach, is the network of other athletes, right?
Hmm.
And the common experiences and hearing about their experiences at races or experiencing them together. So the community, beyond all the benefits, right? The discounts and all of that, the coaching, what I find is, I used to do all my training alone for the
Right.
longest time, right? Up early, do all my training before daylight. And I never really had a network of folks until the last couple of years where I've started to get involved with more groups, and Synergy's been one of them. And it's been great to kind of broaden the reach and create those relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I'll have to hook you up with Jaden there for Finland as well, so you guys can maybe have an interview there, and that'll be kind of fun. And if we identify other Team Synergy people that are going as well, we'll make sure that you guys all get together and
Yeah, we'll
you
do a
know
little meetup.
little meet and greet, little meals or some training and that sort of thing. And the one thing I like about having the teammates is that you realize you're not alone. Going through all that pre-race anxiety and all of those logistics and everything that's going on. It's just nice to know that you're not the only one. Having these negative or worried thoughts. It's just nice to have that feeling that we're all in this together.
Yeah, yeah, or just being able to throw out to the group, "Hey, I'm doing
Yeah,
Santa Cruz, or I'm doing, this Xterra. Has anyone done it before? What
yeah.
are any tips? Where should I stay?" Just all of that stuff. So having this network to be able to kind of feed that stuff back with is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you guys. I enjoy it. We're gonna have to do this again. What do you guys have coming up? You talked a little bit, Josiah. You've got a bunch of travel. How about you, Cal? Anything on the calendar?
Wow, tomorrow I'm doing a 160-kilometer Grand Fondo, so that's going to be interesting.
Just a little
Hopefully,
something.
hopefully I stay out of trouble. And yeah, like I've got an Ironman 70.3 Calgary coming up. That's our big race there, and then my focus will be to try to get uber fit for World Xterra. And again, I'm tied. I mentioned I have 10 world age group titles, so I'm tied with the most able-bodied age groups, and so I need one more for me to be I guess the most. And so my ultimate goal is to try to get to 12, and trying to stay healthy and trying to train hard, and that's my goal. So Italy, I guess September 23rd is my main focus race. Yeah.
Wow, nice. And
Yeah.
you're doing? Did you say Italy as
yes.
well,
Yep.
Josiah? So you
Yeah.
guys will both be there.
Yeah.
Do we have other
Yeah, we
pros
have a
going?
very strong contingent of pros. We have Loanne de Voisin from Switzerland, who has
Yeah.
already won on the World Cup, and she's been on the podium every World Cup race so far. Susie Snyder has been in the top five. Mauricio Mendez is planning on racing Italy. He's a former world champion in Xterra. Brandon Rikita is going. And I think Katie Button is going to make it to Worlds as well. So yeah, really
Good.
good crew out there, both on the men's and the women's side. Oh, and
Nice. Well, have to look
too, I
forward
guess.
to tracking that. Oh yeah. Well, I will look forward to tracking and watching all of you guys. That's one of the other really cool things about having team members is tracking athletes. I now,
Yeah.
I never used to look at the race trackers, right? Unless I was going. But now it seems like every race, somebody's racing. So it's fun to be able to track their results and watch what they're doing. You kind of feel like you're going through some of the experience with them. So
Yeah, and stay tuned. Like if we have some of our pros win the world championships, there might be a social media broadcast that all the Synergy gear is 40% off. We're planning on doing stuff like that. It's kind of
nice,
a neat
nice.
way to give back to the team in the way that we're succeeding on the elite level. And if Josiah wins, then it's like a brand new car.
Oh,
Like it's big
awesome.
stuff.
No pressure, Josiah.
Yeah, I haven't sold that to Stefan yet, but nevertheless, it's a good idea.
Get a new car if I win the world championship.
Yeah, you get one too.
And you get a car. And you get a
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Well, awesome. Well, I look forward to future shows, having you guys on, having some of your athletes on.
yeah,
I think that would be fun to, if it's one of your guys' athletes, to also have you on with them. You can help me dig into some of their history and kind of push some of their buttons, get them to share more.
yeah.
But if you are watching this as a video, you might be watching it on YouTube or Spotify video. This is also a podcast, so there will be audio available only, which is on all the major podcast apps that are out there. So uh, thanks for listening, and thanks guys for coming on. I'm looking forward to talking to you guys again in the
Thanks,
future.
Chris.
Thanks,
All right.
Chris. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good one in Finland.